Our chief guest, Honorable Minister from Egypt, and his delegation are with us. They have a very tight schedule, so we're going to kind of try to keep our Thai story to a very short time, which I think you're all familiar with. We had an earlier session with the Honorable Minister and his delegation to give them insights into what we do here at Thai. We are certainly very excited to have them visit with us and get some information and support from an organization like Thai. This is the continuing effort that we make to reach out and to connect with folks from all over the world. So aside from our regular events that many of you attend here, we also participate and meet with delegations that come from all over the world. And so we're really delighted to have Egypt with us, and you'll get to hear more about what's going on there. I'm sure many of you that are here are anxious and have some questions. So with limited time, I just want to introduce our President, Venkatesh Shukla, to come up and welcome the delegation and start the proceedings. We will certainly set aside 15-20 minutes for Q&A so that any questions you may have of our Honorable Minister here from Egypt to be able to answer those. With that, thank you.
So thank you all for coming here. This is, as I was telling the Honorable Minister, that we get our best attendances after 6 p.m. when people have fought through the traffic, finished the work, and then come here. But given that this is so early, I appreciate all of you coming here. It's my honor and privilege to welcome a delegation from Egypt, and the delegation is led, you see, by the Honorable Minister of Communication and Information Technology, Atef Helmy, and we also have on the stage with him is Yasser Al-Khadi. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Ministry of Communication and Information Technology Agency called ETIDA. And so we have the authorities you see on information technology in India here, in Egypt here with us. So we had some time where we give them an overview of Thai and all the services that Thai provides to entrepreneurs. It's a mission of wealth creation through entrepreneurship. All of you guys are familiar with it. So it's my honor and privilege to invite the Honorable Minister to the podium, and he can share some of his excitement about what's happening in Egypt and his vision for information technology in Egypt.
Good afternoon. We are very pleased to be with you today. And definitely Thai represents a model that we hope that we can imitate in Egypt and to find ways really to work together. Egypt is going through a very exciting time. As you know, revolution just happened a couple of years back, and we are trying to find our ways for a better future. ICT definitely is a driver. ICT sector of Egypt was one of the very successful sector, and we are working together with all my colleagues to make it even more successful in the future. We have the mandate not only to grow the sector and increase our contribution to the GDP of the country and to create job opportunities, but we believe ICT now is a driver for all other sectors to achieve a socio-economic development and to be part of the really providing the service for the nation for a better future. We have just finalized our strategy for the next 5 years, and we have two main objectives out of this strategy. The first one, which is relying on providing our citizens with better services, leveraging the infrastructure of the ICT, and we have the objective of achieving what we call a unique identification for each one of our citizens to be able to access the service across the different sectors, across the different industries. The second objective, that definitely leveraging the geographical location of Egypt in the middle of Asia, Africa, and Europe, as well as the wealth of the submarine cables crossing Egypt from the west to the east, to have what we call and what we have agreed to be the hub, the global hub when it comes to public cloud, and I'll explain this in a minute. To be able to achieve these two objectives, we have 5 pillars that we have agreed that we are going to implement in the coming few months and years. The first one related to the basic infrastructure, which is the broadband, with submarine cables, and at the same time the cloud computing. The third pillar that we are focusing on is related to the e-content. The third pillar is related to electronic manufacturing. The fourth one related to legislation and framework that we're working on some of the laws to change to cope with the new development and new trends. And the fifth one related to cybersecurity. We have to have all these pillars working together, because if you would like to provide services to the citizens, you have to have all these stacks built together. You have to have the broadband infrastructure. You have to have on top of it the cloud computing or the cloud farms. You have to have the basic technology infrastructure, and then you have to have the application and the integration of the different databases in order to be able to provide the services at the end of the day in an easy way to the citizens across the different areas, with a specific focus on the urban and the rural areas as well. The same will apply when we go and actually promote Egypt as one of the global hubs when it comes to internet access. So we have 3 levels of cloud farms that we're going to work on. The first one, which is a private cloud, and this is going to be dedicated to the government application. You know, all of us, that government are very sensitive in sharing sometimes some of the data. So we are going to have the private hub related to the defense and to the government. We are going to have the public clouds dedicated, for example, for the small and medium-sized business and to other sectors where there is no sensitivity of sharing their data and application, and this would be very much hosted in the United States and some of the major farms that are here. The third one, which is our public cloud in cooperation with major enterprises like the Google, like the EMC, like the Microsoft, to leverage the position and geographical location of Egypt to be able for these enterprises to provide services between the West and the East in a much faster way, and definitely improving the speed and the latency time. So these are the building blocks of our strategy. Having said that, I would like just to give you an idea before the revolution and the position, for the time being. Egypt used to be one of the major outsourcing and offshoring destinations. We have succeeded to attract most of the United States enterprises, including all the famous names, IBM, Microsoft, the Oracle, the Cisco, the EMC, even some European players like the Vodafone, like the SQS. So we have succeeded in building an outsourcing and offshoring industry. and we were considered one of the top 5 destinations worldwide. We are working together, despite some of the challenges we are facing, really to maintain this position. One of the objectives of our visit here to visit our partners in the past 5 days, I would say, or 4 days, we have visited 17 partners, and we have assured them that they have our full commitment as a government, as well as people driving this business in Egypt, that definitely we are going to continue our commitment and support for them. And the good news is that most of our partners committed that they are going to grow their operations and their functions as well outside of Egypt, because the fundamentals of the business are there. When it comes to competitive offering in terms of the talent pool that we have, and this is one of the most major competitive advantage of Egypt. We have more than 60% of our population are young and below 25 years old. They are multi-talented, they are multilingual, and Egypt used to be known as really the technological arm to the whole Middle East and Africa. And we have succeeded during the past few years to take this to another level, which is a global level. So the talent pool is really there, and we are going to work even to enhance their capabilities as well to be ready for the market. The second thing, which is a telecom infrastructure, definitely other facilities like the premises. We have our own smart village. It's considered one of the real example. It is providing the level of quality and the conducive business environment like what we experienced here in the Silicon Valley. This is something, and we are working with Itida definitely to have other premises and other technological part. We are going to open and integrate, for example, in the coming couple of weeks, a new technological park in the other part of the city, to give this the chance to other partners where there are some sensitivity in the price at a much more lower rate than the smart village, to be able at least to give this offering for them. Definitely, we are working as well with our partners to move higher in the value chain, because we have been very successful in the lower part of the value chain when it comes to call center, when it comes to video, when it comes to voice and data. We have been very successful in the ITO services, which represent the middle layer of the value chain. And for the time being, I'm coming here to try our main objective to leverage the experience that you have and our at least priority for the time being to give a lot of attention to innovation and entrepreneurship. I want just to give you very high level of what we are focusing on, and I would like to hand over to Engineer Yasser Qadi, who is the CEO of Itida, to give you some more information about what we are focusing to do in the area of innovation and entrepreneurship. Thank you very much.
So, good afternoon. Frankly, I feel home, because 11 years working for just down the road, working for Cisco Systems, so I feel today that like I'm home. Well, we had a visit to Cisco yesterday or the day before, so I feel home in Thai as well. First of all, thanks for Thai for the invitation, and thanks for receiving us. And I'd like to thank His Excellency Engineer Atef for articulating the strategy for the ICT sector in Egypt. So today I'm going to focus on a very important part of the vision or the strategy of Egypt as a whole, as a country. Well, innovation and entrepreneurship is the strategy and is the vision for the country. Innovation is a culture, so how we can build the culture of innovation. We have started the innovation since 5 years, or focusing on innovation since 5 years. I think that we have started not early, but it's a good start since I think 2005. Focusing on innovation. Today, we are having an innovation center and Entrepreneur Center in Egypt called the TEEC. So the TEEC is in the Smart Village, which is the village, it's like the Silicon Valley here. So if you go to the Smart Village in Egypt, you will find yourself like you are home. It's a real city in the city, within the city. It's out of Cairo, out of Egypt, and you'll find that the Technology, Innovation, and Entrepreneur Center is there. So we are creating the environment for the people for innovation and entrepreneurs. We have started by implementing a strategy for innovation for the next 10 years. So we do have the strategy right now for the innovation for the next 10 years and entrepreneurs. We have started by this incubators or innovation center in the Smart Village. Inside the innovation center, we are having an incubator center. And this incubates 50 different companies and multiples of ideas. We didn't just finish by having only one incubator, but we are right now distributing some of the incubators across the other governorates as well. So we do have another incubator in Alexandria, in Asyut, so it's in Upper Egypt, and it is in the east coast or the north coast of Egypt as well. We have decided to have the incubators and the incubator centers very much linked to the universities. So the small, young, innovative people that they are energized, they have an ideas, they can find a place to start experimenting their ideas and start knowing about how they can start a business and how we can encourage the business for them. Today, we had, since 3 years, we had 20 different companies that they have been right now in the market. Some of them has got venture capital and injecting money in the companies. We are having like 3, 4. The injection of the money was not that too big. It was between $500K US to $1 million in each company, which is good for relatively to the size of the companies in Egypt. Today, with our visit to Thai, what we are looking for is to build some sort of mutual benefits and mutual relationship. We're learning from what the Silicon Valley is doing and what the company in Silicon Valley is doing. So how we can transfer such a knowledge to what we are doing and expertise on what we are doing in Egypt in building a proper and right structure for entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship in the country. The other thing is that we have been discussing the different model of angel funds and venture capital. How we can encourage some of the companies that they are working maybe in Egypt to come and to be incubated in some of the incubators here in the US. How we can leverage our relations. So His Excellency was mentioning that 2 weeks ago we were in India in an official visit to India. And we had a very good ties and relations with the Indian government. How we can collaborate together in having some sort of new incubators that between two countries that they are having the same objectives and the same talents that we can integrate and engage all of them together. Again, we are exploring how we can enhance the environment that we are talking about or we are looking for from the innovation and the entrepreneur point of view. We are having, in Egypt, we believe that innovation and the entrepreneurs is the future. We are looking for people. We have been very successful in outsourcing and offshoring, but innovation and entrepreneurs, this is the future. We need people to come out of the box, discussing a lot of different ideas, and even we want people to be employers, not just employees. We need people to be encouraged, to be outgoing. Well, going out to the multinationals, speaking to the venture capitals, and integrated within the whole world society. Thank you very much for listening, and I really appreciate your time, and I really appreciate that you came all the way to be with us today. Thank you.
So it's time for, if you guys have any questions, any comments or discussion that you want to have?
My question was, given the recent revolution in Egypt, how has that impacted the folks and the people out there, in both in terms of education as well as entrepreneurship?
So, to be frank, impacted them in a positive way. Egyptians are striving for a new hope, and we as a sector are very much focusing on doing what we should do, because we believe in this sector that for a new Egypt and for Egypt that we hope to have, ICT is going to play a major role in that. Just to confirm what I'm saying, 2 weeks back, we started a new program in the university under the name of EDU Egypt, where we started to train 8,500 university students on things related to offshoring and outsourcing. We are launching another training program and development program for professional services when it comes to business application related to ERP, CRM, name it. This is the highest level of business solutions that's going to cover 2,300, because we realized that not only Egypt but the whole region is in need for expertise in this area. We at the same time, as Engineer Yasser mentioned, we started a new cycle of upgrading the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center to a new level, and we are acquiring expertise that will be coming out of Canada to drive this business for us. We are at the same time coming here, and we have worked together with our partners to make sure that they are going to increase their investment, and they have committed to do that. Introducing new functions, creating new jobs. So this is a third confirmation to what we have said. I just mentioned in my introduction as well that we are going to integrate 5 buildings in new technology park that's going to accommodate up to 8,000. So I think if you add this together, you'll get the assurance that we are working, and we have all the hopes, the desire and the determination to have a better future for Egypt. As far as the political situation, yes, we have some issues, there is no doubt about it. We have some issues related to the economy, there is no doubt about it. But as you know, the media, whether it is international media or even the local media, they focus on where the trouble is or where there is an exceptional things happening, but they don't focus on other things. Egypt is so large and very diversified that if you go, believe me, you can sit in one restaurant having a very decent meal where there is some demonstration on the other side of the street and nothing is happening. We have experienced, this is the reality. I'm calling Egypt, by the way, this is the country of paradoxes. It is a big country. And you see, what we have made sure during our visit, we have invited most of the executives that we have met to come over. And luckily, you see, what was really our best support when we visited our partners here, I'm telling you, 17 major companies, including the top companies. Our best advocate was really the people from this executive office who came to Egypt during this period, and they have touched themselves and realized that their business is going well. Productivity of the Egyptians increased because definitely everybody is striving to keep his job. That's why the productivity level, as well as the decent infrastructure that we are improving even when it comes to telecom, all of this added positively to what we hope for the future.
My question is also in the same line. First of all, I'm very excited about what is happening in Egypt right now. But my question is, who are we're talking about the IT, the entrepreneurship, who are the drivers of these entrepreneurship and innovation? Is it universities? Is it some big companies? Or is it individuals? Because one thing I worry about is that if the government starts coming in too much, then that could create a blockage. Because I hear about religion coming and all that. There's nothing wrong with religion, but if it starts coming in terms of the technology, should do that, shouldn't get women involved, all that, then that becomes a blockage. So, who are the drivers of entrepreneurship and innovation?
I'll just one comment, and then Engineer Yasser will comment about the drive and collaboration. Regarding, you see, the thoughts of there will be a religious pressure on the sector, I can assure you, zero. Maybe you have heard about the story about YouTube, because there was a movie that was, anyway, it has nothing to do with religion, but it has to do with even the principle of respect that really created a lot of emotion side when it comes to our prophet. And there was a court case, and definitely, unfortunately, it was propagated to the outside world that Egypt is going to take an action and stop you see, YouTube and Google. We have taken a very clear stand. It was because we are a country of freedom now. Okay, we have gone through the channels and we have raised objection to this justice court decision, and we have just got about 2 weeks back that they are backing off, and there is nothing is going to touch the freedom of access, the freedom of exchanging information. Again, as I mentioned about the media is just focusing on some of the extremists that you see. Egypt is too large. Egypt has 7,000 years of history. You cannot just change, you see, the Egyptian way of doing things, the liberal thinking, especially of the young generation who has led this revolution, because I can assure you nothing is going to happen except for a better Egypt in the future. We are just living the time now of some issues here and there, but let me assure you, Egypt is a great country and is going to stay a great country as well.
Thank you.
But I would like Engineer Yasser just to respond to your question about innovation.
Okay, so concerning the innovation and who's the owner of the innovation, so the role of the government is as an enabler for innovation and entrepreneurs. So what we are trying to do is that to build a model, an example for innovation, for building an innovation and entrepreneurs. And then we are a catalyst and an enabler for innovation and entrepreneurs. I can tell you that it's not the role of the universities. Well, having an incubators inside the university, well, what we are trying to do is that to link the research and development, or to link between the young generation and the innovation and the innovative ideas. So how to avail for them a place that it is within the culture that they are looking for, and how to be an enabler and a catalyst. So our role is very clear, because even in the innovation, it's not just innovation in communication and information technology. So there is an innovation across. But we are, as the sector and the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, setting the example and the model and playing the role as a catalyst and an enabler.
Another question here.
Yes, so technology intellectual capital around the world is burgeoning, and we can go to many, many countries and find collaborative programs with universities, incubators, and all the things that we've probably pioneered here and learn how to make work. But we've established the working part of Silicon Valley as people admire it. And it's taken 50 years. So don't feel rushed that you have to do it in 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, because we've gone through our own growing process here. But certainly what you're doing in supporting indigenous intellectual capital is marvelous. The one comment I would make, and it's sort of a cautionary thing, and that is many companies that are supported and nurtured at their very early stage in other countries, their best companies wind up coming here. And A partial reason is because the markets for the early adopters in the market for new technologies, new innovations, generally are more available here. But the main reason they come here is because of the availability of capital. And that may or may not be true even, but that's why they come here. And I've been in and around that community for a long time, and it's hard to get real data, but I'll just give you some anecdotal data. And I was at an Italian innovation conference about a week and a half ago, and I asked one of the young entrepreneurs there, who's been here for a couple of years, and I said, how many companies have left Italy and come to Silicon Valley? And because I had no idea. And he said 100 that he knows of, and maybe more that he doesn't know of, because he's here, and they may have gone to Boston or may have gone to Los Angeles or some other place. And if we looked at other countries, I mean, I've met so many entrepreneurs from Australia. In a couple of weeks, Australia's having a presentation of their entrepreneurial companies, startups. But the main reason why hundreds, literally hundreds of these companies that turn out to be the highest potential growth companies, highest number of new employees, taxes, etc., export of product, they wind up coming here. And the main reason is lack of available capital indigenously in the country. And I just wanted to caution you that all the good plans for developing an innovation economy are not all downhill. Okay? And one of the key ingredients is to make sure there's access to adequate capital at the various stages of growth of a company, because those companies can't live on air, they live on cash. Okay? So however you incorporate that into your model, whether it be private, government, university, whatever, the access to timely capital and in the amounts that are needed. Now, not that there's always a big pool of money, but it has to be very specifically available for those who qualify for it. But in the absence of capital, companies come here, which is not your objective. Thank you.
To be honest, it is one of our objectives as well. We don't mind, by the way. If you look to how India succeeded, they succeeded because they pushed, or at least they allowed the pioneers to start up their companies and come here and work. So we don't mind investing even and see our companies leaving Egypt and come and work here, because there is the opportunity for money, for finance, and for all of these kind of things. So it is partially within our strategy as well to grow the ecosystem, encouraging as well entrepreneurs and innovators to take advantage of even coming here and maybe getting back some time, and as most of you have done. And this is going to help us at a later stage. You just mentioned this is going to take maybe tens of years. Engineer Yasser mentioned we are planning for 10 years. So we are building for the future. We're not just expecting a very short-term return, but we, as leader for this sector, we have to make sure that the road that we are going to go for is going to benefit Egypt. If not in the short term, it's going to be in the medium term and long term as well.
I had a quick question here. So you mentioned several youth and university initiatives, and here in the U.S., and particularly Silicon Valley, you see entrepreneurialism in the startup environment almost become mainstream. You see it in the news all the time, Zuckerberg, Aaron Levy. I was wondering, do you see this in Egypt as well with the youth? Are they becoming more part of this movement? Is it becoming more mainstream?
Yeah, we have seen it a lot, especially after the revolution. I mean, the number of the entrepreneurs that we have met after the revolution, although it's more tougher environment than before, much higher than before the revolution. So they have seen the impact. This revolution, by the way, was caused through technology. As you know, this was really the main driver and contributor to what has happened in Egypt. the young generation through the Facebook, through the SMS, through the mobiles. This is how they grouped together and made a tremendous impact on the history of Egypt and in the future of Egypt. So that's why we have taken this chance, and we just got this very positive momentum, and we're giving them the chance actually to come and work and encouraging them and go at a much larger pace than before, to give them the chance to go the same way like you have just mentioned, and we hope at a point of time that definitely we are going to grow the whole ecosystem and to benefit from it.
First of all, I'd like to welcome you to San Jose or San Francisco generally. And just one last comment I've observed in the last few months, most of the tech companies, when they think of going to Middle East and growing there, they're actually thinking of Dubai. A few years ago, the smart village was a dream, and becoming that technological paradigm shift for the whole region in Egypt. And then actually it's slowly shifting and going to Dubai and going to Qatar. What are the efforts of the ministry to actually take these companies back to Egypt and tell them that we actually have the whole ecosystem that would support, not only ecosystem, but also the infrastructure that would support big companies as well as entrepreneurship?
I agree with you, but not every day a country has a revolution. So honestly, 2 years is not a very long time that our colleagues from all over the world, they prefer Dubai for the time being. Maybe they prefer Qatar as well. But we are certain that for the coming few years to come, Egypt will be a much better place, that this country, these companies will get back to their home, as we are experiencing, by the way, the other multinationals who have invested and created all these global centers. They have started and they are continuing with us for the global services out of Egypt, with all my respect, not from Dubai, not from any other country as well. We have the largest population of American and European companies outside Egypt for global services than any other country, with all my respect to the four giants when it comes to India, when it comes to China, when it comes to Philippines, when it comes to Brazil for the time being, but we are the 5th country in the world with the gross for outsourcing and offshoring this. They are still, up till today, they are still there in Egypt, they are still growing their operation. But we understand the challenge that we're going through because of the time of the revolution, and hopefully
my question generally was, what are the efforts that the ministry is going to take so that it would reposition Egypt back? I mean, the revolution has happened 2 years ago. It hasn't happened yesterday. It was 2 years ago, and it's almost moving too fast. I mean, 5 years are going to pass by very quickly. And if this is a trend, I mean, Facebook just started last June headquarters in Dubai, and LinkedIn followed in September. And this is just a trend. Maybe, of course, Twitter, if it's going to open its operations in the Middle East, it's probably going to go again to Dubai. So what are your efforts, that's my question generally, to reposition Egypt as the center of innovation so that we would attract capital for entrepreneurs as well as multinationals that would come back and actually operate their Middle East operations out of Egypt, not anywhere else?
Okay. Let us differentiate between two things. The sales and marketing arm of any multinational, I'll tell you, they have been always preferring Dubai. Because, anyway, for some obvious reasons, okay? But when it comes to expanding the back office functions, as well as the services of their functions, for the economy of scale, I can bet you that the number of resources that we have in Egypt, by far, much higher than what they have in Dubai. I'm not trying to underestimate what you just mentioned, but what I'm telling you, it was always tendency for multinational to have quite few people based on in Dubai representing the sales and marketing function. But when it comes to the real services, they used Egypt as the hub for the whole region and now for the globe as well. We are trying our best, by the way. That's why by coming here, we are trying to assure our partners, we are trying to assure the Egyptian expat, we are trying to assure whomever would like to invest that Egypt, irrespective of the unrest time that we are facing, they can come over and they can invest and they can be protected and they can expand their operation based on the competitive advantage that we are offering.
I really like your comment about sitting and enjoying a fine meal in one corner of the town and demonstrations going on there. So it reminds me of India, that's life just goes on.
Exactly.
But I think there's one question we have. I heard the comment about Dubai and Qatar and all that kind of stuff. So could you talk about, because the native workforce that Egypt has, and I know there are a lot of talented people in your university that are churning out, fine graduates. So could you just talk about that a little bit, where the talent pool is and all the 50-some, companies that got launched and what's kind of happening and how are these people really now getting inspired and saying, hey, I really want to kind of strike on my own and start companies. I think that will be something for us to know.
Egypt is about more than 90 million. Okay, we have 60% of our population are below the age of 25. We have on average 350,000 graduates every year. And if you look to the number of students after graduation that are ready for the market, they are in the range between 20 to 30%. It was much below before, but we have worked in improving the skills and educating and training them to make them more suitable for the market once they graduated. So if we, worst case scenario, if we're just taking 20% out of 350, so in this case we're talking approximately about 70,000. This is across the industries. If we're talking about the ICT in specific, we can have, for example, between 20,000 to 30,000 out of this. If we're focusing on graduates of Faculty of Engineering, Information Technology, some of the commerce, political science and stuff like that, because now ICT is not only limited to professionals work on development and project management, it is much larger base. So now we can safely say that we have between 20 to 30,000 who are multi-language skills. As we were discussing, we have about 16 languages in Egypt. Egypt traditionally very well known for their technical competency. We just had a discussion today. I remember that the first global or regional support of NCR started back in 1958 to serve the whole African continent and the Middle East. And then they started 6 years later, the regional software center as well. And then IBM and then HP and name it. And lately we have experience with all the giants, including Oracle, the Microsoft, the EMC, all of them, they have regional actually existence to serve their customers around the globe. So the talents are there. We have about 39 universities across the country. You'll find great skills when it comes, for example, to some of the areas related to the cloud computing based on one of the governorates, which is Asyut. You'll find great expertise when it comes to mobile applications based in another governorate called Mansoura. You'll find great hardware engineers coming out of Ain Shams University. So each one of these colleges, they have a specialty that we are growing and developing as well. Definitely, we have a lot of statistics, and Engineer Yasser can exchange with you at a later stage with the classification, with the distribution, with all the skills that are needed. As far as entrepreneurship and innovation is concerned, definitely we have started a long way to go, but we have already started. We are putting the right infrastructure. The government is not going to be a constraint at all. It's going to be a catalyst. And by the way, ITIDA is financed and managed by a multinational mentality. They are not by any chance have the government accept their belonging in terms of just reporting, but they are driven by the true business people to grow the industry.
Another question here.
Yeah, my question, I think a lot of the questions have been already asked, but I just want to say, from your perspective, what are the three most important things for Egypt to do? How would you name them? No, technology is one of them.
You mean in general, not within the ICT sector?
In general.
You mean in general, okay? In general, definitely, we hope that the political situation improves, because once things getting back into track, things will be great in Egypt. You see in the cabinet, for example, whenever we discuss the challenges and the pressure and so on, I have only one comment. I don't need anything for this sector to grow. We have a very solid, robust strategy. We have the right people to drive this strategy, and we have all the stakeholders working with us to make sure that we are going to drive not only this sector, but the whole country for a better future. And we mean it, because we understand this business, we know how to go about it, and we have a very structured way to go and implement the plan that we have already started putting together. This number one. So political stability, I would say, is a very important thing. Number two, as far as we are concerned, and all other sectors, we hope that our partners not to lose the trust that Egypt is in the right track. These confusing messages about, you see, that Egypt is going to be in the hands of the extremists or whatever, it will never happen. Egypt is a liberal country. Egypt has a way of living and dealing with all the countries in a modern, civilized way, with full respect to everything, to different religions, different sects, different nationalities, name it. So that's why this is very important that this message reaches each and every partner that we're working with. This number two. And number three, I would say there are some of the sectors that if we have this stability, political stability, and we have the right expectation about what we are doing, they can contribute very, very soon and very fast in again regaining the economy to the right track. One of them is tourism, the second one is ICT, and the third one is the SME business in Egypt. That's really the core, I believe that's a very, very solid core for building the economy fast. These are the three things.
Hi. In terms of the legal system and the rules and regulations that the current situation now in Egypt provides to the investor to protect their investment or new entrepreneurs, can you give us like an example for those rules and regulations?
For the time being, rules and regulation haven't changed. The same rules and regulation before the revolution is still there. And even more for the future, we are working on some of the laws that at least give the assurance to all our partners worldwide that Egypt is the right track, which is the law of communication, the law of freedom of access, and the law of freedom of information as well. So these are the things that we are building. As far as the labor law is concerned, it is very flexible, and this is what encouraged most of the multinationals in the Silicon Valley to go and establish their global support centers in Egypt. For example, they can work 24/7, okay, in shifts. There is no restriction of the female-male recruiting. Okay, they are enjoying very much the infrastructure when it comes to the telecom. It's a very modern infrastructure. They are enjoying as well as the conducive environment of business when it comes to the smart village or the new park in Maadi or in the new zone of fifth, the other region, close to the ring road and the airport. So there are a lot of facilities that together, and definitely the talent pool is the most important thing. So all of these together definitely can give the assurance to these companies to continue investing as well. So is there anything that you'd like to add about this?
Well, if you are talking about the rules and regulations for setting up a business in Egypt, so the rules and regulations are the same rules and regulations even here in the US. So number one is that Egypt is a country that focusing on attracting foreign direct investment. So number one is that your investment is protected and your company is protected. So there is no any laws or any actions that could be taken against any company, regardless of its nationality or its direction. So this is a great protection, by the way. This is number one. Number two is that it depends on what is the status of the company. If it is a limited liability company or if it is a money company. So if it is a money company, so you are allowed, even if you are a multinational or a foreign company, to start, either if you want to register it in the stock exchange, you can register it inside or outside Egypt. If it is a limited liability company, so you are enjoying the same benefits and same incentives that any of the Egyptian companies are enjoying. Well, we do have some parts of Egypt called the free zone areas, and in these free zone areas, so even the foreign direct investment is exempted from taxes, but on one condition that 70 or 80% minimum of what they are produced is getting to be exported outside Egypt, and 20 or 30% could be sold in Egypt. So if you look to how you are going to set up a company and how long it will take, 48 hours. So this is one of the high strengths worldwide when you are going to the competitiveness between Egypt and some other countries, and this is by the World Economic Forum, the WEF. You can see the ranks. So you will find that all the investment in Egypt and the companies are started in Egypt is totally protected. Well, money is protected, and even money to be transferred inside and outside the country according to the rules and regulations of the Central Bank of Egypt, which is almost the same or even more flexible than the federal here in the US. So all of the rules and regulations in Egypt are attracting a lot of foreign direct investment. Back to the question of Dubai and Qatar. Yeah. Well, Dubai and Qatar, well, people are going to Dubai and Qatar for many different reasons. One of them is tax-free. So people are tax-free, so they are enjoying the tax-free environment in Dubai and in Qatar. So this is one of the very motivative points for the multinationals and for the companies to go there, and even for the individuals, because there is no there's no corporate tax, and there is no tax on the people itself or the income taxes. So this is one of the things that maybe it's good for them, an attraction point, but from the talent pool point of view, as His Excellency was rightly mentioned, that you will find that the talents into the country of 19 million population, and a lot of people are graduated from the university, you find that the talent is much more accessible than Dubai or than Qatar or a lot of other countries in the Middle East. Okay?
Welcome. We're all very excited about what's taking place in Egypt. What do you consider to be your challenges in creating the entrepreneurship and innovative culture from the talent pool and from the cultural standpoint of Egyptian culture?
I will just answer part and then let the yes to comment as well. We need, honestly, to learn how we can develop and sustain this kind of business. We have the talent, we don't have any worry about the talent pool that exists in each ecosystem. We have fantastic ideas. We have fantastic young generation who are coming with great ideas. Let me just mention a couple of examples in the past few weeks. I've been exposed to so many great ideas and implementation related to something that I'm sure is close to our heart, all of us, when it comes to people with disability. The young chaps came up with solutions. Believe me, I think if they are exposed to the international community, they are going to be picked up in no time. And they have demonstrated ability in coming with these great ideas to help this very important part of our community. We were exposed to another thing related to the traffic in Cairo. I can say that the traffic in India, here in Delhi. And believe me, we had an event related to the intelligent transportation system. And they came up with great ideas. By the way, one of them already in the United States, because Intel picked the top, really, by the way, they were great 10 ideas. But now they are incubating one of these ideas in their premises in the United States. So I don't have any worry about, you see, the talent pool. I don't have any worry about our commitment to develop this very important part of our business and to give the young chaps the real opportunity to excel and exceed. But we need to learn from other experience. That's why we are here today, and yesterday as well, we were in the Silicon Valley with another partner that's going to help us putting together the right business model to have the right acceleration, the right processes, and the right support to grow this. So, and we are seeking the support of the Chai and for others as well. Any comment?
So the innovation is there since a very long time. So the pyramids is an innovation. The Sphinx is an innovation. Innovative ideas and innovative people that they are building the construction and even thinking of building a statue with a head of a human being for the forward thinking and for the body of a lion for the power. So again, innovation is there. The problem, it is always there. The problem is that how we can structure the way that we can tap into the innovative people. And this is very important and very complicated, to be very frank with you. So we are trying to start to create a culture of innovation, culture of people that they appreciate the innovation. They appreciate the out-of-the-box ideas. So instead of somebody saying, is telling another guy an idea, what this mad guy? No. Well, ideas is ideas. So how we can appreciate it, how we can create this. This is number one. The other thing, the other best part is entrepreneurship. How to create a culture of success or failure. So how we can create a culture that people, when they fail, they didn't feel that they are a failure. They have to restart from the beginning. Well, the culture or the culture of failure or the failure is very bad. But how we can encourage people to tell them and to say that, okay, failure is not very bad. So failure means that you can have another chance. How we can help them, how we can support them. So this is why I'm saying, and I was saying in the answer of the question is that the role of the government or our role is to be an enabler, to be a catalyst, to start to build the model that others can follow. This is the name of the game. I'll tell you, well, thank you very much. 10 years, 50 years, well, yes. This is a long-term plan, but we are focusing on the short, medium, and long-term plan. We are determined about innovation and entrepreneurs as the future and as the vision and the strategy for Egypt, not just in technology, by the way, innovation, not just in technology, not just in the IT, but across the whole sectors. But we are trying to build a model that others can follow. It's like an RBM, replicable business models.
Well, so on behalf of TAI, on behalf of all of us, we are very, very grateful that you chose to come here and chose to speak to us. So on behalf of everyone, please